Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cherries with Army YouTube channel. I'm Kirk. It's Friday. It's another match preview, and your football weekend starts right here. Tomorrow afternoon at 12:30, AFC Bournemouth take on Brentford in their latest championship match. And wow, do we have two excellent guests for you this evening to discuss this fixture in more detail. But first, thank you to everyone who's currently joining live. We'd really appreciate a like if you enjoy it throughout, and it's your show as well. So you know you can chat and comment throughout interactively, and we will show as many comments as we can. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do that. It does help and let this channel grow. So let's get my first guest on. There's only one way to do this. He's a genius. Take it away, Pugh.
Ritchie running beyond Walker. Pugh, that'll do it! That will do it! Pugh for Bournemouth! The roof at the Gold Sands is raised! Everyone here knows what that could mean to this football club.
Please welcome club legend and gentleman Marc Pugh. You're looking well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm brilliant, and thank you for taking the time to do this. And before we get into the match preview, it's been a season of variety for you, Marc. You picked up a medal in the Betway Cup back in September. You had a stint at Shrewsbury where you picked up a goal and I think an assist as well. Your foodie footballer continues to grow on Instagram, and you've also done some commentary with Solent and Chris Temple. I mean, how's it been for you? Tell us how have you enjoyed it, and what you've been up to.
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride, really. Like you said, I went to QPR. Had a really good year towards the back end before COVID hit. I mean, we're 8 games unbeaten. I was told I wasn't getting a new contract due to financial restrictions. People weren't to know what was going to happen with COVID. And yeah, parted way with QPR, and then signed for Shrewsbury. Had a short spell, a change of manager, change of ideas. That's just football. January came around. I had a few options, few clubs were interested in me, but with all the travelling involved with it, with my family not being able to travel, I just thought I'll take a back seat until the summer. I'll concentrate on the food, the nutrition side of things, and try and develop that side for when football does come to a halt. But I'll be raring to go in the summer if the right opportunity came up. And just had a little five-a-side tonight with the boys, and probably like 450 shots and 4 goals. So yeah, it's been a productive evening.
Things you love to hear. And just for us Bournemouth fans that were praying in September, was it close? Did you nearly sign again?
I'd love to, absolutely love to. I can't go into too much detail. I know JT and Perchie wanted to sign me for one reason or another. Behind the scenes, it didn't happen. I'd have signed tomorrow. Everyone knows my love for the football club. It'll live long in my heart and the memory bank. And just seeing the goal against Bolton and being able to dive in with a crowd, gone are them days at the moment, but absolutely loved it. It was an amazing day for the football club, for the fans, just for everyone involved. And like I say, I'll never forget it.
My daughter was born on a Monday, but I'd give anything to go back to that Monday night. But let's get my second guest on. Now, maybe not directly a Brentford fan, but if you want to know everything about the Championship from top to bottom, reviews, previews, breaking news and watch-alongs, check out Benjamin Bloom Football Channel on YouTube. Please welcome Benjamin Bloom. How you doing, Ben?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed there's no footage of me smashing one in the top corner and then jumping in the crowd. You've done me there, Marc, haven't you?
a little introduction there for you, Ben. How's your season been? I'm sure it's been very busy for you with the content you've been putting out. But yeah, tell us a bit about your channel.
It's been great. And there was once in five-a-side, although it sounds non-existent, in a much smaller goal against far insignificant. I did put one in off the far post, but no, it's been a great season. COVID's made it interesting, so we're not games anymore, watch-alongs the whole time. But channel's growing nicely. Nice to meet lots of Bournemouth fans, although we may be losing you in the next 4 or 5 weeks or so. So Yeah, and very interested to talk to you because I believe last time I was on, Kirk, I can't remember what game I did, but this was pre-streak, and we wouldn't have had Bournemouth in third position at that point, would we?
No, and I think it was Cardiff, if I can remember. Ben's details are in the description. Check out the channel. I do suggest you subscribe to it. Lots of content for the Championship. So let's get on with the match preview then. And we'll start right back at the end of December. I think it was the last game in 2020. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 1. Now, Mark, some fans will say it was one of our best performances of the season, especially in the first half. Created lots of chances, scored a very good goal. We did take the lead through Solanke, but we did lose the game through 2 goals scored by Brentford from headers, and that's been one of our weaknesses this season.
Yeah, I mean, Bournemouth played excellent that day. That's part and parcel of football. You don't take your chances. You don't go on to win football games. And Brentford are an excellent team. They're ruthless. They get the chances. They're great going forward. Tony's scoring goals for fun. And they've got great outlets on the wing as well. So, I mean, these 2 clubs were my favourites to go up, to be honest. Obviously, you've got Watford and Norwich as well. But I really fancied Brentford. They had a great season last year. This season, looking as strong as ever again. So I think in the playoffs, both teams will be quite happy to avoid each other.
Just an option there for you, Ben, to add to that. I mean, anything on that game that you can remember?
Yeah, we did it as a watch along, and genuinely, it's one of the best games I've seen this season, actually. It was, because we've had a few kind of, what's the polite word, pragmatic teams in the Championship this season, and to get 2 teams content on playing football go at each other. And you're totally right. For the first 15 minutes, Bournemouth were incredible, actually. They were so good and could have really gone 2-0 up in that game. But this was at the point where Brentford were in the midst of that 21-game undefeated streak, weren't they? And it's just strange how things have changed. I've just got the teams up now, and Brentford have had to go Hail Mary and change the system, and they're playing 3 at the back now, and it's not a front 3. And Bournemouth, obviously, now billing forward and getting Danjuma back in the team. It's kind of trended upwards nicely for Bournemouth since then, and downwards for Brentford. But it was a fantastic game, and if Bournemouth could have pieced together 2 halves like that, they would be up with Norwich and Watford right now, wouldn't they?
Moving forward then, just in the week, we got a result. Sorry, the last fixture we had against Millwall, a very good result. Performances all over the pitch. Now, Mark, you're on Back of the Net, another Bournemouth channel, and you said you just needed to see a little bit more effort from the players because we know they've got the talent. And I've said all season, if they smile, they're going to dominate this football league.
Yeah, smiling is a big part of football. Enjoying what you do, having a passion about what you do. And the last 6-7 games since Southampton in the cup, really, they've been excellent. They've got the bit between the teeth. Danjuma's flying. I think Billing moving him forward was a great way to get the best out of him. He scored some great goals. And yeah, they're just looking really effective all over the park. They're looking sound defensively. And to go away to Millwall, I know there was no fans there. It's a real tough place to go. The pitch is usually a little bit bobbly. But yeah, blew them away. Looking really good. Brooks coming back as well now to add competition to places. If they can keep Junior fit, Danjuma, Brooks, Solanke, the front 4 and Billing, obviously, they've got some great talent between them, and they can open teams up for fun.
Asmir Begovic, Mark, would he be disappointed to concede that goal and not keep the clean sheet?
You know what, Asmir's he's bulletproof. He's a great keeper. That's why he's been one of he's played in the Premier League for years, and I'm chuffed to bits for him because he's obviously not had opportunities the last couple of years. Artur Boruc was excellent, great keeper, still is to this day, and he's 49 now. No, I'm only joking. He's 41. So, but Asmir, he's got his head down. He went away to Milan, obviously. Must love life out there. and he's come back to the Championship, and he hasn't disappointed. Like you say, he'd probably be disappointed with a goal, but 4-1 win away at Millwall, it's a different class.
Ben, Brentford's last fixture was a 1-1 against Cardiff. And when we spoke last time, as we said earlier on, Cardiff were in form under Mick McCarthy. Not so much now, but a 1-1. Brentford in April. Do they not get on or something?
I don't know. I mean, I get very cross with people on my channel calling Brentford bottlers. I think it's a bit unfair, this idea that anyone who doesn't finish in the top two has somehow bottled it. But I'm finding it harder and harder to defend. Obviously, remember this time last season, Brentford were doing exactly what Bournemouth are doing now, going on a winning streak just sort of towards the end of the season. But draws kill you in a run-in. You cannot draw games in a run-in. And I don't know how many it's been recently for Brentford. And I did mention the switch looked like it had worked, and they hammered Preston, didn't they? But it's not looked the same as it was, goals flying in and Tony scoring each and every week. Can I just ask Mark a question about billing, Kirk?
Yeah.
Mark, can you just explain to us this, us uninitiated, about this number 10 role? Because obviously Billing's a central midfielder, and you've done this with Bowen and Grzycki and Eze and Samuel. Can you just explain what the transition from central midfield to 10, and how has he improved so much, and what's the key to playing that role?
You don't have to do as much defending as your general midfielder. Midfield's box to box. I mean, number 10, it's really important you do your work for the team, and your positioning off the ball has to be really good. But you're a lot more advanced. He's been getting himself in some great areas. When I was playing number 10 for QPR and for Hull, I got the license to run off the strikers and the interplay. He's got that ability to do that. And obviously, he's not the type of player to run in behind. There's two types of number 10s. Number 10 is back to goal, which I think he's really good at because he's a big, strong boy. Or another number 10 works off your 9, runs in behind, and creates that other problem. And it's a real difficult position for a centre back to mark, because if one of the centre backs comes out, he's leaving a gap in behind for the 9, who's 9 times out of 10 he's quick. So it's a real good role for him, and I enjoyed that role. It was excellent, especially when you play with two quick wingers as well. You can drop in and the wingers can run off you and you can play them in. So it's a real good role. I've really enjoyed playing there.
I think I'm in a boat with a lot of other Bournemouth fans that we didn't see this in Billing, and he's now become a player that you want in your team lineup every week, and it's good to see. And we'll look at some of those stats in a bit more detail in a bit. The head-to-heads between the team are then quite equal in the last 6: 2 wins for Bournemouth, 2 wins for Brentford, and 2 draws. Both of those wins for Bournemouth are coming at home, and we did win the last time in the Championship. Mark, did you play in the 1-0 back in August 2014? Can you remember?
Oh, you're testing me now. I probably will have done because we won. Now, to be honest, I can't remember. I remember scoring at Brentford. I think that might have been 1-1 though at their place. Was that 2-4?
It might be 2-2. Is it a 2-2?
2-2 potentially, yeah. I cannot remember. You're testing me now. Cannot remember.
And so it looks like in the head-to-heads there, Ben, that it seems to go to the home side. I mean, it is a head-to-head. Times have moved on, but yeah, what's your thoughts on those stats?
I mean, Mark will tell you more whether players play into stuff, especially when one team's been up in the Premier League since. It's just an interesting setup, this, with it being before the Watford game, and because essentially they're both trying to steal Watford's thunder later in the day. I know the chances of either catching are slim. It's actually Brentford with the bigger upside with the game in hand. But I don't know, it's a bit of an interesting psychology, particularly for the Watford players as well. They're going to have their eye on it. A draw in this game, Watford need a draw and they're up. A Bournemouth win and a Watford defeat, and things look interesting. Your Cherries fans are not going to want to hear this, but the interesting one is a Brentford win a Watford defeat, and then Brentford win the game in hand, then Brentford play Watford next week. So it's kind of the most interesting game, but can't really decide anything as well at the same time. Everyone's going to be looking at what's happening at Watford and Millwall, or whether or not the Bournemouth players have just been told, look, you're playing really well, forget what Watford are doing, just keep winning.
Mark, you'll know as well, we've stole Watford's thunder before and I enjoyed it the first time, but maybe too much for us to do this time. Let's look at the season stats then and form. So for Bournemouth, we're third, 77 points plus 31 goal difference. We're now top goal scorers in the league with 73, and we're going for a club record mark of 8 consecutive wins in a row. And you and Eddie did that as well, I believe.
Yeah, we went on a great run, and like I say, winning's a habit. Bournemouth have got that winning habit, just going into the. I'm a realist; they're not catching Watford. I don't believe they are. But they're in a great run of form. If they can continue that going into the playoffs, I mean, the playoffs is a lottery. But yeah, 8 games unbeaten in the Championship to go that amount of time, it's an amazing achievement, because the Championship's one of them leagues that anyone can beat anyone. And, the teams, you look at Coventry, they were miles off it, and they've put a great run of results together, and now they're out of it. They're looking really good. So, yeah, it's an incredible achievement. And, yeah, we had an amazing run in that Championship season, and consistency in this league gets you promoted. Ben touched on Brentford have drawn too many games, which has been a bit of a stumbling block for them. If you grind out them 1-0s and 2-1s, it does get you promotion. So I think it's a big thing in the Championship.
And you alluded to it, Ben. Brentford 5th, 75 points with a game in hand, just 1 goal behind Bournemouth. So both teams are the highest goal scorers in the league, but they've had 10 home wins and 10 away wins. So they're as dangerous away as they are at home. Yeah,
it's Brentford just didn't reckon on. They're the only team really in there. Norwich had a 9-game streak. Bournemouth are on this 8-game streak now. Watford won 10 in 11, didn't they? Barnsley had the streak. It's only Brentford and Swansea in this second half of the season. Their timing's just been a bit off. They peaked in the middle, and now they're tweaking systems. And you'd much rather be in the case of Bournemouth, where they seem to be trending up just at the right time. Although there is a theory you can go too early, because you're now looking at, with the playoffs, add another 3 on, 10, and then 13 games to win the playoffs. So you're looking at a 13-game streak to get over the line. But now, in terms of Brentford, and you make a really good point about the goals, because that was the thing with Brentford, wasn't it? They created more chances than everybody. They scored more goals than everybody. They had the top scorer in the league as well. And now you look at Billing and Dan Juma, and God, if they get Brooks playing as well, because he's not had the best of seasons, then they could just outscore everybody in the playoffs. But we all know what the playoffs are like and the tight nature, and sometimes it's defences that get you through playoff games, isn't it? Rather than sort of blowing teams away, and savvy managers. So, yes.
We seem to have a connection issue with Marc Pugh, which is a bit of a shame. He might be getting a call coming through, so hopefully he will sync back in. I'll just drop him out for the minute. It's a good show at the moment. Really interesting stuff. This is your opportunity to just hit the like. Really appreciate that. Helps with the channel, and also subscribe if you haven't already. We're just going to take a 20-second gap just to see if Marc Pugh can sort the connection out, and we'll be back. Hit the like button, and we'll be back in just a moment. And just like that, we've got Marc Pugh back.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. We just took a little bit of a break, hoping your connection would come back, and that's fantastic. You are back. You haven't missed much, Mark, so that's absolutely fine.
I was talking absolute sense the entire time you weren't here, Mark.
Oh, I believe you.
So let's look at some of the players then. Now, Mark, I said when we sold Callum Wilson that we might not have a natural number 9 goal scorer. Now, Dom Solanke, I expected to score 10, 15 goals. And I've always said that to get out of this league, you do need a 20-plus goal scorer. Some have said to me, don't always need it. Leeds didn't have one. But when you've got players like Danjuma, Brooks, Billing now add in, and Stanislas as well, it does give you half a chance.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Dominic Solanke, when I was training with the lads in pre-season, he was always one staying behind that after training to do finishing, and it's paid dividends for him. He's scoring goals, great goals as well. He's getting the horrible goals. He's also I've seen a couple of games. I did a couple of commentaries, and he works hard for the team as well. He puts himself about, and like you say, when Junior's fit, there's not many better than him in the Championship. He's just been really unlucky with injuries. Great lad. And he works hard as well on his recovery side of things. So it's just been really important to keep him fit because his statistics are great this season. And Danjuma's just Danjuma. He's doing what he does best. He's been excellent this season. And Billing again, just scoring goals, being a threat. And the solid in midfield as well. You look at Jack doesn't play every week, and when he's fit, when he's playing well, he can be as good as anyone. So really positive signs for Bournemouth. They've just got to keep this run going now. It's the playoffs is a complete lottery though, but you've got to dream, you've got to show belief, and you've got to show confidence, and they seem to have that in abundance at the minute.
We'll take a look at the predicted 11 in a bit, but Ben, just your reflection on those players. Now, you've got something like Danjuma scoring 5 goals in 5 games. Now, Philip Billing, interesting stats. I've actually put it on some of your channel content that every time he scores, Bournemouth win, and 7 out of his 8 goals have been the first goal in the game. I'm looking at him as a bit of an omen gem.
God, do you remember the Ian Rush statistic? That went like 100 games. Liverpool never lost when Ian Rush scored. But no one's mentioned Carter Vickers and Pearson in this conversation, and it seems like the switch from the sort of 4-3-3 to the 4-2-3-1 shape maybe, and Mark would be far better positioned to answer this than me, maybe when he's talking about that number 10 role, if you have a Pearson type character, because obviously Gosling was allowed to go out to Watford, if you have a Pearson type character in there with Lerma, is that sort of that's my layman's view of it, Mark, in terms of balancing out in a 4-2-3-1?
I think it's really important because, no disrespect to Billing, he doesn't want to do the other side of it as much as the other two do. So, yeah, Pearson and Lerma have been excellent, breaking up the play, keeping it simple, keeping the ball ticking, and doing the ugly stuff. And, yeah, like you said, it's a bit sad that we don't mention them because they do all the horrible jobs and they do deserve credit. But you get the accolades up the other end of the pitch, and that's where I played, so I wanted all the plaudits. But no, I agree with you. Carter Vickers as well, he's been solid. Cookie, and whoever plays at wing back, whether it be Rico, Smith, Stacey when he plays, all great quality, and they played Premier League football as well. So it's a team effort. You attack, you defend as a team, and that's what they've done over the last few weeks.
And Kirk, just quickly, sorry, talking about goal scorers, I was just quickly flicking my eyes down the top 6. It's only really this season, Norwich obviously have got Pookie and Brentford have got Tony. It's only really them that have got the big number 9, and the other teams are kind of sharing the goals out in the same way that Bournemouth are this season. First thing I wrote down when you said that was Cardiff. Do you remember Cardiff in 17? I mean, their top scorer had about 6 goals, and it was Callum Patterson or something, wasn't it? So you can do it without your Timu Pukki or Ivan Toney.
You mentioned him then, Ivan Toney, a snip, 29 goals, struggling to get to 30. Don't think he scored in the last 2. But when I looked at Brentford, apart from that, I think their next goal scorer's on about 8. But Ivan Toney, are Brentford sweating here a bit? I mean, if they don't get up, He's done it in League One, scored 24 goals. He scored 29 in this league currently. He's going to want a piece of the Premiership, surely, Ben.
No. Well, Mark will tell you what happens to a 30-goal striker in his first season in the Championship. They don't stay in the Championship very long, but Championship nerds like me are desperate for the guy to get to the 30th goal because, did you play one of these 30-goal strikers, Mark?
What was Callum Wilson?
I want to say something like 23, and didn't Lewis get 23 as well?
From midfield?
Lewis Grabban.
Oh, Grabban. I thought you were talking about Lewis Cook then.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, Lewis Grabban.
He didn't get 10, I don't think. No, to be fair, to get 30 in the Championship's incredible. And yeah, you'll be looking at a Premier League. A Championship striker will have so much interest. But again, it's important. He's in a good... a rich vein of form. You need to pick the right Premier League club if it does come along because you don't want to go 2-3 years not playing. He's playing great at Brentford. Go do it again. Go bang in 30 goals. Who's to say Brentford won't get promoted to the Premier League? Hopefully not, and hopefully Bournemouth do. But yeah, I mean, what an achievement. His all-round game's excellent. I haven't seen a lot of him, but what I have seen, I've been really impressed.
Better than I thought he was going to be as well. I thought, okay, here comes another Peterborough striker because we've had Assombalonga and Dwight Gale and Marriott. There's loads have come through Peterborough, and you think, okay, here comes another one. But I remember the first time I saw Brentford, sort of properly, he was like already their best player. And I know they had Ben Rama and Watkins last season, but he's properly stepped into there. And you make a very good point though, Mark. It's where do you choose? Because you might get some people throwing a speculative bid that might not be the right club in the summer.
But sorry, mate.
Watkins
has just set the world alight, and you choose the right club, and then the world's your oyster. So yeah, it's an unbelievable achievement.
I got one more stat coming your way, but I've got to read this comment before I lose it. Okay, so it's not February and it's not Valentine's, but roses are red, violets are blue. Pugh will always be a legend, and I like his food. So had to get that out there before I lost it. One more stat coming your way. Tomorrow, if someone gives away a penalty, the likelihood is they'll score. Bournemouth, 3 penalties, 3 goals. I think Junior scored them all. Brentford, 8 penalties, 8 goals, Mark. Ivan Toney.
Great stats. Junior, every time Junior steps up to a penalty, I know he's going to score. I don't want to tempt fate, but he's so composed, and penalties in training, I don't think I've ever seen him miss one, to be honest. And Ivan Toney looked cash as well. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot of goals in this, an entertaining game, because it's two sides who want to play good football, who play it from the back, and they're quite Eddie-esque in the way they play. They're sort of quite expansive, and it's building up to be a really good game.
Can I just ask Mark a question about penalties quickly? Because Mark, I'm sure you'd agree, the standard for winning a penalty just seems to have dropped over the last maybe 18 months. Do you think, given that it's a free shot of goal from 12 yards, that just dangling your foot in and your foot getting tapped by someone and going down, have we not jumped the shark with this, where the punishment giving the free shot from 12 yards against the standard to actually seemingly how easy it is to win a penalty now? I'd be very interested on a pro's views on that, because as a fan, it's quite maddening. It seems very easy to win a penalty in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes as a player, when you're running at pace as an attacking player, I'll just speak on my behalf. When you're running at pace and you're sort of trying to dribble with a ball and you're trying to avoid contact, sometimes you go over and you get a penalty when you haven't actually dived, and it looks like you've dived, if that makes sense. So because you're running that fast, you're just trying to avoid it. And yeah, I mean, I agree, you get penalties for nothing these days. As an attacking player, some attacking players get accused of diving where they're just trying to avoid contact. It's a lot easier to win a penalty these days, though. VAR stepped in on that in the Premier League, but I don't even want to talk about VAR, to be honest. But yeah, it's an interesting question, because when you're on the field, it doesn't come across that way. And there's been times where I've won a penalty and I've looked back and I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks like I've dived. But when you're in real time, it's completely different. So yeah, it's a difficult question to answer that.
And if Pugh was on that pitch tomorrow, a chop on the fullback, Cruyff pen, always. Thank you, Simon, for your comment. Really appreciate that. Let's just quickly then, briefly, Ben, just have a look at the lineup from Brentford's last fixture. Just how close do you think this lineup will be tomorrow for this game?
I don't know, because he might go back to the back four. He might decide that, okay, they battered Preston with the three. So the idea was they were playing the back four, but they were without both of their first choice fullbacks. So Rico Henry's not there and Henrik Dalsgaard is not there. Now, they played a game against Huddersfield, and Mads Roerslev, you can see there, 30, got taken to school a little bit, and he would be playing against Dan Juma tomorrow as well. So I think the idea was give the fullbacks some protection and bring Norgard, who's actually a midfielder, back in as a centre half. And then they could also get Fosu on the pitch. If you are a Bournemouth fan, you're going to like the idea of David Brooks going narrow against Brian Mbeumo, who is not a defender. He makes Phil Billing look like Bobby Moore defensively, from what Mark was saying earlier. So I don't know, Kirk, because I can sit here and say, no, they're going 3-5-2, and that will likely be the team. The other thing they were struggling with was fitting in a balanced way of getting Jensen, Janelt and Norgard, which is two defensive midfielders. And it was too static in a three. Obviously, we spoke about that as it pertained to Bournemouth, in that if you're going to do that, release Billing, get him, tell him not to do any defending, and you see what happens. So I think they'll probably stick with it. He does seem to give things a run, Thomas Frank. But don't be surprised if he tears it up and says no, a back four. Either way, they're without their first choice fullback. So if it is a back four, you've got Dan Juma against Roerslev, which is very desirable for Bournemouth. And if it's a back three, you've got Brian Mbeumo, who's not a defender, covering David Brooks, who goes narrow, doesn't he, on the right hand side. So I don't know. It's traditionally been 4-3-3, but I suspect he will stick with the three, and it would likely be that personnel. If they wanted a bit more creativity in midfield, Marcondes could step in there, but they'd have to take a holder out there, which in a big game like this, I don't see them doing. And then, of course, like you've already said, Ivan Toney speaks for itself, doesn't it? You only need to look at the 29 next to his goals chart. So I think it will be a three, but I'm just throwing the caveat in so I don't look silly tomorrow. He could rip it up and go back to a back four.
And looking at a press conference from today for Woodgate, Mark, Lewis Cook, we know, is out for the rest of the season. Lloyd Kelly went down with an ankle injury. Doesn't look too serious, a couple of weeks out. But a chance for Rico to came in during the game, did very well. And yeah, an opportunity. We'll look at the predicted 11, but just your thoughts on Lloyd Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, he's an excellent player. He's going to be missed, but you've got Cookie and obviously Carter Vickers, who's playing really well as well. And yeah, I mean, he's going to be a big miss, but he's an excellent player. He's an excellent player. You need to keep him fit, especially in the running. If they do get in the playoffs, he's a big part of Bournemouth's success this season. So I think the team pretty much picks itself, to be honest. The Bournemouth team. You've got to stick with the consistency. They've been consistent the last few weeks, firing on all cylinders, scoring goals. Obviously, they conceded against Millwall, but they've been looking solid defensively. So, like you touched on there, Diego Rico, he's come in. He loves a tackle. He's got a lovely left foot. And, yeah, I mean, he'll do a job there for sure.
Thank you to everyone currently joining us live, and we're now going to look at the predicted 11. Let us know your thoughts on the team that Woodgate might pick tomorrow. It's time for us to do the predicted 11. Let's do this. Okay, Mark. So in 2014-15, you played in a team which I think all Bournemouth fans would comfortably say we pretty much knew 10 out of the 11 of those players, if fit, for Eddie Howe. barring probably Jan Kermigan and Brett Pittman swapping over between matches. Now, Woodgate's 7 consecutive wins has probably gone down to the nucleus of that squad and that starting 11 being the same every week. Now, I've taken Lloyd Kelly out of left back and I put Rico in there. I think he sounds like he'll go with a left footer over Smith playing on the left, which we know has done that many times. Jack Stacey came back into the team the other night and he covered himself. You know, he played very, very well. Would you see Smith maybe coming back into this game tomorrow?
I love Smithy as a player. He's great defensively, great going forward. He's got everything you need in a fullback. But yeah, like you say, it looks solid, that lineup. It's potentially, depends how fit Junior is. I'd put Junior ahead of Brooksy. If Junior's fit, that's my opinion. But it depends how fit Junior is. He's had a great season. Brooksy, he's just come back. Maybe, he's played quite a few games recently. Maybe drop him out a little bit, but it could go either way, to be honest. He could bring Smithy in for Jack. I think he will stick with Diego Rico at left back. But yeah, I think the rest picks itself, to be honest.
And another player, Ben, that we haven't talked about yet. Now, generally, Ben Pearson does play away from home, and I think he's been an outstanding signing. I challenge anyone to give me a better January signing than Ben Pearson, and that partnership with Lerma in there and protection. But at home, Woodgate seems to go with Jack Wilshere. Could there be a chance that Jack Wilshere plays tomorrow?
I don't think so, no. I think Brentford are a good attacking team. We all know Wilshere's calibre, don't we? But I think you just want that assurance, especially against the midfield where the midfield rotates of Brentford, doesn't it? And Tariq Fosu, if they are playing the system with the 3 and the 1 off the front, someone needs to be picking up that number 10 position. And Jack Wilshere is a brilliant footballer, but that's not why you have him in the team. Can I just ask Mark a quick question about the wingers, Kirk?
Yep.
Mark, what do you prefer? Do you prefer the balance of 2 pacey wingers like Danjuma and Stanislas, or like you had at QPR, where you have Eze who'll stop on the ball and Samuel who'll run? Do you prefer the more variety, 2 different players out wide, or do you prefer 2 the same, like Bowen and Grosicki, who're just going to go like you had at Hull?
I'll say one of each, because I was a left winger and I was never quick. But no, I think it depends. I mean, if you're quick, like Danjuma and Stanislas are, they've also got amazing technical ability as well. So, like I say, Eze he's deceivingly really quick as well, but he does drop in and collect the ball and move with it quite well. Brighty was out and out pace, pure pace. So yeah, he literally did not move from the byline. So that was, whereas Junior is quite comfortable coming in as well. Danjuma, he'll keep his width. And Brooksy, another outlet. But me personally, I prefer opposite foot on opposite wing, if that makes sense. So a right footer coming in from the left, a left footer coming in from the right. I think Mbuena for Brentford, he's great on the right wing. I think Bournemouth will kill him if he's out at left back in that formation. So yeah, I think it depends on the team. I mean, yeah, I'm open-minded to anything as long as it's technically good and they're comfortable coming in or playing wide. Then yeah, I mean, open-minded about that one.
Brilliant. And maybe just choosing the name, Smith or Stacey at right back, Ben.
I would bow to yours and Mark's superior knowledge on that. I think Bournemouth are well stocked in fullbacks, aren't they? I'm in Bedfordshire and I know a lot of Luton fans, so I'll say Stacey.
Yeah,
Mark, would you go with?
I would. I like Smithy at left back as well, but I think he will go Diego Rico. But I struggle to leave Smithy out of the team, but I don't know. Stacey played well the other night. Diego done well when he got on, and he's more natural at left back. So it could go either way.
My final question on this one, Mark, and I'm going to say this delicately. Put yourself in Danjuma's feet here and boots. Bournemouth are pretty much guaranteed the playoffs because of the goal difference that they have. Is there an argument to say that you protect Danjuma?
No, keep him playing, keep him scoring goals, keep them confidence levels high. when you don't play, it's not like you get a rest because you get beasted on the training field. So you want to play games. A rest ain't a rest in modern day football. You've got to stay sharp. You've got to be constantly keeping that match fitness up. So if he was to rest tomorrow, he'd be doing a training session Saturday morning. He won't be too happy about it. And then you've got more games coming up. So yeah, keep him playing. And like I say, belief, confidence, it's sky high at the minute.
Okay, that's our predicted 11 for tomorrow. We'll find out about 11:45 or 11:30 who Woodgate has picked for this team. But let us know your thoughts. If you're not able to watch this live, drop your thoughts in the comments and we'll read each and every one. But that is our lineup. Mark, you seem to be dropping into darkness. I don't know if you've...
It's gone dark.
I've been talking that long. It's gone dark.
The early nights are coming in, but just dropping into darkness. Cheers.
I was getting sleepy there.
Going into the last part of the show then, and we'll just have a look. I'll just drop, there's some selected fixtures that are also taking part tomorrow. I'll drop them on the banner below, and we'll also just take a look at the table as it looks now, and we did discuss those positions. But yeah, I mean, Ben, looking at the playoffs then, let's assume Norwich and Watford are up. I mean, is that your four for the playoffs? And who do you fancy in those playoffs?
Oh dear, you got me on a Bournemouth channel and I've got to predict the playoffs now. This is going to end well, isn't it? Yeah, so slim chances. I know Mark said earlier he's a realist and Watford are up. I just had my fingers burnt last year, Mark, it was Forest and Swansea. And it was so unlikely that they were going to switch places. And then 20 minutes to go or something, there was a 6-goal swing and a 3-point swing and they switched. So I'm open-minded about it changing. But no, I do think that is going to be the final four. And I think Reading have got Norwich to play next week as well. So the chances of them winning all their games. Look, the wild card is Barnsley, isn't it? Because we've all seen... particularly that game at Brentford for Barnsley, where it was just thrilling. They started, and I thought they're going to be knackered in 20 minutes. These wing backs just they looked out of their minds the way they were playing. I've never seen press. It was that ridiculous. It didn't look organised, but it obviously was. So just the unique way that Barnsley play compared to those other guys in the playoff spots, they could catch anyone out, even Bournemouth. And obviously they had a win at Bournemouth recently. So I'm not saying Barnsley are the favourites, but they're a little bit of I don't know what to expect. Obviously, when you look at quality, you are looking at Bournemouth then, aren't you? Because they're Premier League stocked squad we've reeled off all the names already. Plus, there's just this idea in my head that Swansea and Brentford have trended downwards for a little while now. But playoffs are crazy, aren't they? I remember Birmingham and Barnsley. It was after getting Ipswich mentioned in here, the year Ipswich went up in the playoffs in 2000, and Barnsley were 3-0 up in the away leg at half time. Done, season over. Do you know what I mean? You just have a crazy half, and the playoffs are done, aren't they? So, red card in the first 5 minutes. Remember Brighton got 90 points, then they got 3 players injured in the first half against Sheffield Wednesday, and away you go. So, very interested what Mark was saying about resting players, though, because do you remember Huddersfield as well? They pretty much threw the last 2 games, but won the playoffs, didn't they? And Villa did have an excuse, though. They took McGinn, Grealish, I think, and Abraham out, but 2 of them were 1 yellow card away from a suspension. So they did have an excuse for... I'm just interested in this psychology of almost, do you want the winning streak to end before you go into the playoffs? Just get it out of the way and go in. I'd be interested in an actual footballer's take on that.
I think you've just got to take each game as it comes. I mean, like say, the playoffs are an absolute lottery. Anything can happen. Form goes out the window. If there's 1 game left of the season, yeah, potentially maybe rest players. But when you have 4 or 5, I don't think there's any need whatsoever, because you can get injured in training at the end of the day, and it's really important to keep them confidence levels high. Me personally, as a player, I want to play every game. And if you rest, recover, fuel yourself properly, then you're going to be ready for it. Playoffs. I picked Bournemouth off current form. In my honest opinion, whoever plays Swansea, I'd be quite happy because I think they're the weakest of the teams. In my honest opinion, I've seen Barnsley. I think you don't know what to expect. They're a young team, enthusiastic. They beat Bournemouth 3-2, I think it was. And they're real tough not to crack. They just avoided relegation last season. So they've nothing to lose. So they could be a bit of a dangerous team. Brentford, Bournemouth, on par. You see the current form guide. When they play well, Brentford, they're excellent. They're a lovely football team to watch. And likewise with Bournemouth, I think they're excellent. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
And briefly, Mark, as a fan, the only scaring feeling I have is, apart from Lincoln back in 2003, I think, we don't have a lot of experience in the playoffs. Is that going to matter?
No, I don't think so. I think unknown territory sometimes is quite fresh, and you just go in, and if you've lost, you look at I'm trying to think of some Middlesbrough. They got in the playoffs 3-4 times on the spin, and they lost every one. I mean, they had all the experience in the world, but they kept losing. So yeah, I mean, just go in and take it as another game. Just approach the game like you do any other game, and have that determination and willingness to win. Run through brick walls for your teammates. That's how you should approach the game. And whatever team does that will win. And you need a little bit of luck along the way as well.
An interesting match preview, and this is the final part, and this is your opportunity to get your early score predictions in the chat. What do you think the score will be tomorrow? Drop them in now, and we'll give you an opportunity. Before we show them on the screen, we can't not take an opportunity when we've got Marc Pugh, a legend, on here, to do a sort of 60-second Q&A, if that's all right, Mark.
Yeah, that's fine, but they're not.
So let's go for it then. Personally then, favourite goal for AFC Bournemouth?
Oh, I've got two. The Bolton one, just for pure emotion. The celebrations after, great night out as well after that goal. But no, I love that. And then my first Premier League goal against West Ham. It was our first Premier League win. And just to see the fans, the smiles on the faces, it was amazing. Technically, they weren't my best goals. Probably technically, the best goal I scored was Leicester away. Touch, half volley, top corner against Kasper Schmeichel. So yeah, that was probably technically one of my best. Well,
favourite stadium to play in?
Favourite stadium, atmosphere-wise, Upton Park, the old Upton Park, and then favourite stadium, it's got to be Anfield, just for the singing before the game. Absolutely incredible. There's been too many to name though.
Most competitive fullback you've ever played against?
Antonio Valencia, strong, quick, athletic. Technically really good, and it was horrible playing against him.
He's probably retired now, because everyone who comes up against Marc Pugh ends up retiring. So I don't know where he is nowadays. Okay, then teammates. Best teammate?
My best mate in football is Sean McDonald. Still speak to him this day. Still catch up with him. So yeah, we've got a great relationship.
I always used to bump into Sean McDonald in Tesco Kinson, and I know you've seen this before, but you took a photo of my daughter and my son when they were very, very tiny, just when that sort of Tesco's was built. So but yeah, love Sean Mac. And is he doing all right?
Yeah, he's doing really well. Yeah, he's at Rotherham at the moment. I'm not sure what he's doing at the end of the season. I think his contract's up, but no, he's very rare in football. You stay in touch with a lot of teammates that come and go, but yeah, we always catch up, and he's such a good lad.
I never had the bottle to run my trolley into him just to get a chat with him, but maybe one day. Inspiring teammate?
Oh, good one. I've had a few, to be honest. Junior's one of them. He's had that many injuries, and he always shows that belief to come back, the willingness, the determination with his recovery. And, he's with the bad injuries he's had as well, to perform at the level he has this season and to get himself back in the shape he has, it's just inspiring to see.
teammate you would trust to help you in the kitchen?
Oh, Frano used to love himself as a bit of a cook, to be fair. Frano seems decent in the kitchen. Steve Fletcher talks a good game. And his missus bakes some great cakes as well, to be fair to her. Yeah, them two, I'd say.
I'm going to put you on the spot now, Mark. If you could cook me up a 3-course performance meal for tomorrow, so a starter from when the whistle blows, a main course half-time, and a second half with an icing on the cake. Quickly, could you think up a 3-course meal in a performance?
Is this to help you perform on the football field?
Tomorrow, yeah.
I won't give you a starter and a dessert, that's for sure.
God, you athletes are so dull. Get a starter in, come on.
If it was to put you a lovely starter, I'd go for king prawns in a little bit of garlic butter, chili, and with a few herbs and spices. And then for main course, I'd do honey glazed salmon with some tender stem broccoli, sweet potato.
Double
I'll
fish.
keep it. Yeah. I'll keep it at that. And then for dessert, I'll treat you with dessert. I'd make you a homemade apple and blackberry crumble.
I was waiting for the special brownies that you do with the sweet potato.
Yeah, to be fair, I do your healthy apple crumble.
Now, Ben, I think you're a bit of a musician as well. So we've got the meals. I mean, what tune can we have in the background as we enjoy it?
Can you say that again, Kirk? Sorry, it's got a bit of feedback.
Yeah, I said we've got the meal in place, the 3-course meal. What music would you have in the background?
Oh, God. I'd probably be kicked out of every football dressing room for my taste in music. Something rousing, I guess. What was the jam in the Bournemouth dressing room, Mark?
There was some good ones and shockers. To be honest, when it used to be Smithy, Frano, Sirs, sometimes it was like good dance music with a good beat just to get you going for a game. And then there was a lot of hip hop that tried coming on that you couldn't understand some of the lyrics. I like hip hop, but as long as you can understand what they're saying. Well, yeah, it was mixed, to be honest. It weren't bad. The Bournemouth dressing room music's been good over the years.
Love it. Things you love to hear. Right, let's get those score predictions on this screen then. How are you feeling about tomorrow's game? Thank you for joining us. 3-2 Mark Singleton. We've got a 2-1 in there. We've got a 1-0, or expecting a 2-1. Cameron, 2-1. Another 2-1 as well. 3-1, 3-1. I'll start showing some more on the screen. 3-0. Got 3-2. Thank you for joining us. Ben, how are you feeling about this game? What's your score prediction?
I think you'll win, actually. I think it will be an 8 straight victory to Bournemouth. I think both teams will score, I have to say. I just don't see Brentford shutting out. And particularly, look at that. I forget, was it the 3rd or 4th goal? It was a brilliant goal Bournemouth scored the other night at
Slanky
Millwall.
one.
Yeah, and that type of confidence and that type of football. And as you mentioned, top scorers now in the entire division. So I think it's an 8 straight win. And that's not me pandering to the crowd, don't you?
And Mark, your score prediction for tomorrow, are you able to watch the game?
It depends on the kids. Probably won't be able to watch the game. They'll probably want to go play tennis or something. But no, I'll be tuning in. Whether I get to watch the game or not, I'll be straight on Score Centre as much as possible. And yeah, I fancy a 3-1 win to Bournemouth. They're in great form at the moment. I think it's going to go down to the team that takes the chances. I think there'll be plenty of chances in the game. If Tony, we've been known to fire strikers. I mean, you look back to the Premier League. I think it was Harry Kane. He hadn't scored in ages, and then he scored a hat-trick against us. So hopefully that's not the case tomorrow. But yeah, I think the team that takes the chances will win the game tomorrow. But I fancy a 3-1 to Bournemouth.
I'm going for a 1-1. And Ben, have you got a busy weekend ahead of you with the Championship?
Yeah, so we'll be covering that one. Going to be doing a long stream. So at this time of the season, and my maths is not great. I think I burnt most of my brain cells in my 20s, I have to say. But it's that horrible time when you're just adding up permutations every 5 seconds of, and then someone questions it, don't they? And they're like, no, Reading can still catch someone. And then you question it yourself. So I'm going to have a long Saturday doing the stream there. So come and join us for that. We'll be doing the Bournemouth game if I'm not directly in competition with this channel at that point. But no, great time of the season, and I just hope we don't get a load of dead rubbers for the next couple of weeks, I dare say, because like you pointed out, Kirk, we could have top 2 confirmed, playoff 4 confirmed, potentially Wednesday and Wickham could both go down at the weekend as well, and Rotherham just aren't winning games. There could be not much to play for in the last couple of weeks, I dare say.
I really appreciate you coming on, Ben. Thank you for your time, and check out Ben's channel. The details are in the description. Go ahead and subscribe. So yeah, have a good weekend, Ben. Thank you for joining.
You're very welcome.
And Mark, I know you said it earlier on, you keep yourself in shape, you eat well, those feet have still got years left in them. I mean, you're planning to get back on the turf, in pre-season?
Yeah, I mean, if the club's ambitious and it's a club that suits me and it's not a lot of travelling, you get to that age where you want to dedicate your time to your family as well as your football. I mean, I've travelled all over the country, absolutely loved it. It's been a hell of a process, and it's, since I left Bournemouth, it's just been it's been a roller coaster of a ride, and I've loved every minute of it. So looking forward to the summer and see what the summer brings. And yeah, I feel like I've loads more left in the tank yet. Tonight I was showing the young lads a thing or two how to play 5-a-side football. So no, it's I haven't kicked a ball in about 3 months, but I feel like I've never lost it. And yeah, we'll see what the summer brings. Excited.
Really appreciate your time, Mark, and thanks for coming on. Wish you all the best for the future, and I'm sure we'll see you supporting Bournemouth or doing some commentary, and can't wait to see it. So yeah, all the best for the future and the family, and thanks for coming on.
Appreciate that, mate. Cheers for having me. Thank you.
And thank you to everyone who's joined us for this match preview on Friday. So what have we got tomorrow? We've got lineups live 45 minutes before kickoff. Join us at 11:45 a.m. And as usual, we'll have a match review straight after the game. So 2 teams looking for Wembley gold towards the Premier League, a proper league. Maybe a playoff rehearsal? We'll see. Who will win? We're going to find out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the next video. Cherries.